Welcome in, everyone. We are back here on Sports Den. This is our 5th episode already. The fall is truly flying by. But I'm Blythe Whaley alongside Bill Hupp, and we're excited to recap you on this last week for fall sports.
It was a busy week of fall sports, and as Blythe said, season number 19 of Sports Den, the fall season flying by here in the Northwest Metro.
But as we kick off our show today, we had some exciting football news for, of course, our state, the Vikings, getting that win here recently. But our teams, they found some success this past week as well.
Yep, they won on the gridiron as well as Spring Lake Park hosted Irondale on Friday as they look back to bounce back from a Week 3 loss to Chanhassen. Beautiful night for football in Spring Lake Park. Panthers come into the game ranked 10th in Class 5A. They're psyched up, wearing the blue and white, ready to go. First play from scrimmage, quarterback Braden Talso hits Peyton Thompson on a slant, and he does the rest. The 58-yard touchdown strike gives SLP the lead just 17 seconds into this contest. Panthers driving later in the quarter, but a fumble turns it over to Irondale, and the Knights would capitalize. Just 2 plays later, junior tailback Ralph Niema bursts untouched up the gut for 80 of his 170 rushing yards on the night, and the Knights led 10-7 after 1 quarter of play. But early in the second quarter, Nate Litke hits pay dirt from 2 yards out for his 5th touchdown of the season, one of the main cogs of that potent rushing attack. Panthers protect that lead by blocking an Irondale 26-yard field goal attempt. Nate Spencer scoops it, tries to score, but he's tracked down by the kicker. Tremendous effort by all involved, but he couldn't convert the scoop and score. Midway through the third quarter, Aaron Clausen makes a cut and rips off a 78-yard touchdown run. He'd finish with a team-high 112 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Panthers would rack up 217 yards and a couple scores on the ground as well. But SLP's defense came to play too, shutting out the Knights for the last 3 quarters. Senior linebacker Nolan Hendrickson led the team with 3 sacks, and you're seeing 2 of them here, including a strip sack. The Panthers retain the block for the 4th straight year and move to 3-1 with a 21-10 victory over Irondale. And you see the box score here. Dominant on the ground as always, 217 yards, 331 total yards. Clausen leads them with an average of 11.2 yards a rush. Incredible night. Spring Lake Park facing a tough task though. They travel to unbeaten Matamidi later this week.
Yeah, you have to give it up to that kicker. That was incredible. Track him down. But on our next game, can we get another win? Maple Grove taking on our Centennial, and this is Lance Liu getting into the end zone and getting the first points on the board. Just 4 minutes left in that first quarter. Centennial is up, but Spring Lake Park coming in on the right side of the end zone to tie it up. A 7-7 ball game here as the Cougars continue to fight this one all the way up from Cummings to Lance Nielsen Jr. The 78-yard gain into the end zone, 14-7. Cougars up. As this one moseys on forward, the Cougars again, this time 59 yards. Lance Liu trucking into the end zone. Cougars up 21-7. Of course they're excited, they're pumped up, but this one is from the defense. Take a look at this play, a tackle for loss here. Centennial coming up with that great defensive play, but as they continue to close out this game, you see 4th down there. They're able to get the first down, and Centennial Cougars win it 21-7. That was a previously undefeated team from the Crimson coming into that game. So for the Cougars to come out like they did and win this one, it was truly impressive. But taking a look at some of the numbers on the board, those yardage, total yards, Cougars 333 to definitely feeling good for them as they look at the rest of the schedule ahead. But Lance Liu, 34 rushing yards, 204, or 34 rushes, 204 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So kudos to him having an impressive night. But we still have more football that was on.
It wasn't our only game, as Blaine traveled up 94 to take on St. Michael Albertville in some Metro Gold North action. Knights marched down the field on the first drive of the game, and Connor Lugvin caps it off on the ground from 8 yards out to give STMA the early lead. Second quarter, Owen Neros hits Riley Purcell on the 14-yard fade to give STMA a 2-touchdown advantage. Late second quarter, Neros goes to the air again to big tight end Sawyer Forsberg for another touchdown. Bengals in the Knights red zone late, but A.J. Call's pass for Jordan Reynolds is knocked away in the end zone. Tough night for the Bengals, who get shut out on the road by number 7 STMA, 28-0. As you see the totals there, just 168 total yards for Blaine. Easton Olsen was a standout defensively, however. 11 tackles and 1 forced fumble, and it just goes to show you how loaded the Metro Gold North is this year.
Definitely. Well, 2 out of the 3 of our teams getting the win still feels great. As we look at the standings, there's Centennial Conference 2-1, overall 2-2. Blaine a little ways down, 1-2 conference, 2-2 overall. Spring Lake Park 1-0 in the conference and 3-1 overall.
And as we look at the upcoming schedule, as talked about, Spring Lake Park going to the unbeaten Zephyrs, the 5th-ranked Matamidi Zephyrs. That should be their toughest test of the season. Centennial hosting number 2 Wayzata coming up, and a game we'll have for you here on North Metro TV. Blaine hosting Totino Grace next Friday night. So a lot of good football coming up here on North Metro TV for our area schools.
But of course, we don't just have football on North Metro TV. We have all of the sports bringing it to you, and the next is just a different type of football as we head to the pitch.
Same fields?
That's what's so interesting, of course, as we take a look at football in our American football that we know. But of course, girls and guys love getting out on the pitch. And 2 of our teams got to take on each other. Spring Lake Park Panthers taking on the Centennial Cougars. The home matchup for the Cougars. As we take a look at this one, in the first half, as it's winding out, Garrett Anderson gets the snipe. He finds that upper left 90. Bang! For him, definitely feeling great. Getting the Cougars on the board just before halftime as they celebrate. But that was the lone goal. So it really meant a lot to the Cougars to find that, and they win it 1-0. But the ladies, they matched up right after, and definitely an exciting one between these 2 teams as the Cougars, Brooklyn Bordson dribbles the first one past as they get up in this first half. It took a while to get started, but of course, they couldn't just score one. Sipe over to Treadle, and she gets the second. The Cougars now leading it 2-0. Brooklyn Bordson just as excited as if she scored. But this one coming from deep, Van Zee finding that lofted ball up and over the keeper. The Cougars on a roll and taking it. But Brooklyn Bordson has been the name we said a ton. She rips it upper 90. We are just impressed with her performance. I remember saying it that night. But Lauren Allis and Isabel Sipe also scored for a 6-0 final.
Yep, no question. And we stay on the pitch for Rogers at Blaine.
And as Kendall Stadden sends up the streaking Jordan Pascarella, getting the Spring Lake Park, the Blaine Bengals up to that 1-0 tie, 1-1 tie, The Bengals net another one off the set piece there. And as they continue to find the back of the net, this one is able to come. Stadden sends it up and over, and the Bengals will win this one 3-1.
As we show you the Northwest Suburban Conference standings, Blaine right up near the top, a couple games behind Centennial, who's the third-ranked team in state right now, and Spring Lake Park struggling but playing well and playing better as of late. But Blaine and Centennial expecting to be in and amongst the final few in the Northwest Suburban Conference this year. How about Centennial, though? 27 points, a perfect 9-0 in conference thus far.
And as we look at the schedules, the Blaine Bengals, they have those last 2 wins on the board. They'll take on the Duluth East and not to travel there, so that will be a distance for them there on the 25th. They'll take on Elk River on the 28th. Centennial, they have those 2 wins as well from their last 2, but Maple Grove is who they'll take on at home at 7 p.m. on the 28th, and the 30th, they'll travel to Champlin Park.
And then Spring Lake Park hosts Coon Rapids, and then they'll face Blaine coming up, and that's a game that we'll have for you. Blythe and I will have for you on North Metro TV later this week. Should be a good one as we turn to the boys' soccer standings.
Yeah, of course. We can't just have the girls. So the guys, they are doing well. Centennial up there 6-2-1 for the conference, 7-2-1 overall. Spring Lake Park a little ways down, 5-4-0 and 5-6 overall. Blaine 3-5 and 4-6 overall.
So well represented throughout the conference as we look at the schedules coming up. Blaine, a busy week, 3 games at Armstrong, hosting Elk River, and then at Spring Lake Park, again, a game that we'll have for you on North Metro TV. Centennial, a big one at the conference leaders, Maple Grove, then they'll visit Champlin Park, and Rogers coming up, and Spring Lake Park at Coon Rapids, and then hosting Blaine later this week. So busy schedules on the pitch for football and for soccer.
Yeah, exactly. Our teams are all over the place, making sure they're taking advantage of the season they have. After last year, kind of was that condensed season. They weren't able to even make it to state if they were at that point. And now our team's just thriving.
Yeah, no doubt. And the turf fields help. The fact that all these schools have turf fields. Blaine has a new turf field at Bengal Stadium, and that allows multiple uses by different teams, which is fantastic. Just gives kids more opportunities to play in a great facility like Bengal Stadium.
Yeah, of course. So, but we also have, those great indoor facilities for our schools.
And they involve nets as well. They're not the only sports with nets. As we head,
got to get up and over.
Exactly. As we head to the volleyball court for Champlin Park at Centennial. Centennial welcome third-ranked Champlin Park to Circle Pines. Centennial in the red there. And Rebels freshman Carly Gilk hammers down one of her 5 kills on the night. Cougars keep it close in the first set, but they ultimately drop it 25-18. In the second set, Centennial got out to an early lead, 10-6 behind outside hitters like junior Cassie Sosinski. And the Cougars pull within 22-21 here as the student section is hoping to see them tie it up. And there's the go-ahead point. There's the student section. But the Rebels get a big block at the net here by senior Claire Caswell and win the second set 25-21. Gilk records the last of her 4 aces on match point, and the Rebels win this one in straight sets 3-0. Cougars fall to 7-4 on the season. They visit Rogers tomorrow and host Andover on Thursday.
Bond is not just on the court to help chemistry.
I thought the upperclassmen and seniors and juniors really helped me adapt. They were super welcoming and just made it super easy to be part of the team.
Impacts from freshmen seen throughout as we look at the volleyball standings in the Northwest Suburban Conference, Blaine.
Yeah, as we see Blaine there at 3-2 in the conference, 10-3 overall though. Centennial just below, 2-2 in the conference, 7-4 overall. Spring Lake Park, 1-2 and 3-9.
And we look at the upcoming schedules. Blaine with a tough game at Hutchinson tonight, and then they visit SLP later. Centennial visits conference leaders Rogers and then hosts Andover later this week on Thursday. And Spring Lake Park hosts Blaine and then hosts Park Center. So a couple home games coming up for the Panthers before they hit the road again.
And now we look at our tennis results for the ladies. This one between Champlain Park and Blaine. Number 1 singles, Alex Rippler defeated Molly Garber 6-2, 6-1. In the doubles, we had our matchup, and Blaine ended up on the losing end of it, 6-2, 6-4. Champlain Park getting that W. Final score, though, Blaine 1, Champlain Park 6.
But Blaine came back and swept Irondale 7-0. Garber a 6-0, 6-0 straight sets victory at number 1 singles. Good matchup in the doubles as Scheibe and Miller defeated Rupp and Rupp. So 1-6, 1-6, 6-4, 11-9. So that third one went into extras. And Blaine able to come out on top, and they sweep the Knights in a big one, 7-0.
They also had our matchup between Maple Grove and they were at Blaine. We get to see Zoe Adkins of Maple Grove defeating Molly Garber 6-1 and 6-0. Doubles, we had them also defeating our Blaine squad 6-1, 6-2 to Appella and Kalinski. Overall, Maple Grove 7 to Blaine 0. So of course they're going to want to bounce back from that, but Zoe Adkins, she has done quite well in state. So there's a lot of talented ladies on that tennis squad.
Yep, and as we look at the upcoming tennis schedule, Blaine, as you see, very active with their schedule. They will host Armstrong of Robbinsdale coming up. Centennial will host Elk River and St. Anthony in back-to-back days this week. And then Spring Lake Park will be at Rogers and at Andover. So a lot of action on the courts with a different kind of net. Soccer, volleyball, tennis, all kinds of nets in the fall sports. And cooler weather, it's probably a little more comfortable to play tennis these days. But,
absolutely. But
yeah,
something too is this is the end of the season for tennis for all these teams. So that's why we're seeing some of these schedules to be determined, trying to figure out what does that postseason look like for them. Are they going to be able to add on and get some more here in the upcoming days?
Section play coming up for all of our teams locally, and stay with us because we'll certainly have highlights on future episodes of Sports Den.
But swimming and dive, no nets in this one, but we do have it for the ladies. We see the Blaine Bengals at Champlain on the 30th, and as well as that home one versus Andover on the 7th. Centennial taking on Armstrong at home on the 30th, and Rogers on the 8th is that next one for them, also at home. Oh, Spring Lake Park.
Yep, no question about it. As you take a look at our upcoming schedule for volleyball, Blaine at Spring Lake Park. In volleyball and soccer, Totino will again have that coverage for you. Totino Grace at Blaine. And then a rare Thursday night game, Blaine at Centennial and Centennial at Blaine in volleyball, both on that Thursday, October 7th. And then football, Cooper at Spring Lake Park. But visit NorthMetroTV.com for our full coverage schedule. Of course, all these games can be found live on Comcast 859 and on our YouTube channel.
Wow, we got through a lot. Our teams are very active this fall season, but we're loving it.
And our coverage schedule very active as well as we continue to bring you all the sports action from Spring Lake Park, Centennial, and Blaine High Schools. And yeah, it's a great time of year for that.
And as you said, I mean, as the temperatures are still a bit warm, I wouldn't say anything has gotten too crazy cold for any of these teams. So we're trying to take advantage of that as we even go and attend, and the fans getting to not have to wear some of those heavier jackets quite yet, as we'll see maybe later.
Not sadly. Yet, but we're nearing, if you can believe it, postseason play. We're halfway through the football schedule this year already, so certainly October going to be a busy month.
No, don't say that month. That's when you know it's getting scary. You're like, okay, that weather's unpredictable.
The month of Halloween is going to be is going to be a busy time certainly in the metro area for sports, and we'll bring it as much as we can here on North Metro TV, and we'll bring you the highlights of those games here on Sports Den. In the meantime, she's Blythe. I'm Bill. You've been watching Sports Den. See you next week.
Bye, guys.